Greetings, viewers. This is CP-350 signing on for an unboxing of this thing. Preliminary research done on the internet seems to suggest that these Antec SmartPower 2.0 power supplies are some of the worst power supplies ever made. Whether that's actually true or not, I really don't know. If you want my honest opinion, these are still a step above the cheapy, no-name 500-watt power supplies, when that in reality can probably supply no more than 150 watts, if even that much. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to see what one of these would have been like brand new. So I went to go and look to find one, and this was the option that showed up for a reasonable price. Probably a little bit more than I really would have liked to spend, but I mean, it's here. And it allowed me to make the smarter choice. It does have a dual fan, so you can see there. It is push-pull. I do have another one of these, an Antec SP-350, that I think might even still work, or at least it did until I removed one of the capacitors. Even though it had bad caps, I had to bend one in order to see what the rating was, and it ended up falling out. So I'm sure it doesn't work anymore. If you'd like to, you can pause the video to read this. I guess that's just their, it's a 350 watt. This is the model SP-350. And again, you can pause the video to read this. This actually is not lightweight, I'll tell you that much. Assuming that you can read it once video compression gets done with it. Energy specifications. The leader in power supply technology. Alright, let's open this up. Now, this has been opened. It was opened on the listing, so I know that this has already been taken apart. Or, well, maybe not so much, but I know that it's been out of here. So we'll pull this out. It is not modular. I did not expect it to be modular. The SP-350 is. Another power cord. Some mounting screws. Okay, this box smells like burnt electronics, so I'm already apprehensive about this. Let's see. I don't know if this foam was in the box or not. But there's a nice block of foam in the bottom. Get that out of here. We don't need the box anymore. And we don't really need this power cord either. So it's just an extra. Alright, let's remove this bubble wrap. I don't know if this is original bubble wrap or not. Probably not, because I think that's Scotch tape. I don't think they would use that on a professional product. But maybe I'm giving them a little bit more credit than I should. Alright. I think this has been opened. It smells kind of burnt. Alright. So I'm really starting to get a bad feeling about this. I think I'm going to pull the cover off and just inspect it. Make sure there's nothing grossly wrong with it. The warranty seal has not been voided. Not that I think Antec will actually honor a warranty on one of these anymore. So we'll pull the cover. The fact that it smells like burnt electronics tells me that it's probably not new, as was claimed, which means I think I'm going to have to talk to another eBay seller. I'm really getting tired of doing that. Dishonesty is amazing in this world, really it is. Alright. But I guess, you know, I really shouldn't be surprised that an Antec power supply blew up. Seems to be a common problem. I don't know if I'll be able to see anything. I'm going to break this warranty seal. Even though I really probably should not. going to anyway. Alright. If I can. Let's try and get this cover off. Come on. And let's see. Is anything obviously blown up? Well. I don't see anything terrifically obvious. There's no obvious burn marks or anything like that. The capacitors all look... Well, that one's bulging. No, it's not bulging, but it certainly looks like it's blown. Guess we'll see if it works. I'll put the cover back on and I'll get out some random motherboard and we'll give it a quick test. Alright. Wow, were they ever stingy with the amount of cable that they give you? I mean, that's ridiculous. I know this motherboard's bad, so I don't need to really worry about that. If it just blows it up, it blows it up. We do get lights though, so it's at least supplying 5 volt standby. Let's see if it'll turn on. It does. So maybe it's not so much a burnt electronic smell as it is a new electronic smell. I don't know though. Guess we ought to put it into something then. Have a look at some of the paperwork here. It's a pity that's not still open. This is what? I can't actually tell. No, that's German. This is probably just the warranty. Antec quality. Now, it's been more than 3 years since this was produced, I'm sure, and I've already cut the sticker anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. And this is just the manual. 3 pages worth of instructions, I guess, on how to hook it up. Okay, so here's the machine that we are going to install this in. Right now, it's got one of these 430 watt earth watts power supplies in it. So what we're going to do is take the screws out. If I can find the screwdriver, which is down here. Okay, screws are out. Next step is to start unplugging things. So, let's see if I can get in here to this. No, it's not easy. I think I'm going to have to pull out the SATA data cables on these drives. Then I should be able to get down to the power. This one should be relatively easy. Now, what else? I need to do the P4 power connector, which isn't too bad. PCI Express connector. And the motherboard, which is where? In here. I'm probably going to take the cable tie off of this power supply and put it on the new one. Wonder if I could do this. There we go. So this should now come out. Might be a pain because it might be tied up with a bunch of stuff. Alright, come on. So there we go. Our power supply is now uninstalled. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is there's a front fan connector on this motherboard, which you cannot see. I weren't using this tripod, this would probably be easier, but that red thing is a front fan connector, and I'm going to use that for what I believe is an RPM monitor on this little connection right here. Come on. I believe this is an RPM monitor. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this power supply into the case. Or maybe I won't even do that. Maybe what I'll do first is I'll try and get one of these SATA cables plugged into these, because this is going to be a real pain to try and do. Oh, it's upside down. Aw, really? Come on. Is this one upside down too? Yeah, it is. That's irritating. I hate it when they do that. You can see how it is. You know, it's supposed to go in like this. I hate it. It should be like this. The other one was like that. Well, it wasn't that. The other one was not backwards. So I don't know why this one is. Must be like an old school Antec thing. I don't know. Plug that in. I'd really rather not put this power supply in something I care about, but oh well, I guess if it blows it up, that'll be good video. But go ahead, we'll plug in this RPM monitor, if I can. If this SATA power thing was not in the way. Are you joking? Like, how does that even happen? I don't understand. Okay, it's in there. Wow, what a pain in the ass. I don't know why power supplies feel the need to be so difficult to install, but they do apparently. This cable is really annoying, because I think it's gone inside the thing again. Whatever. You know what? I don't even care. We'll tie it to this. That's what we're going to do. Do a little bit of rudimentary cable management. Good enough. So that's now tied up. And now we got to screw the power supply into the computer. And normally I wouldn't do this, but I am going to actually use the brand new set of screws that it came with. At least I hope this is the set of screws that it came with. It came with some power supply anyway. So I have a nice set of brand new screws. So it look nice for all of about 5 seconds. And that'll be that. Okay, so we're now nice and installed in the case, so there's no going back now. This P4 power connector, which is very stingy in terms of how long it is. I mean, like, look at this. You get, like, no connector there. Let's see if I can plug this in without the use of any tools. I had to use a pair of pliers to plug in the fan header, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. But looks like I might need a pair of pliers to install this too, because my hands are not long enough. Be able to simply tie it off like that. Should be out of the way of the fan. Hopefully it is. Alright, I might do something with that later. Next step, if we can get it around here, is to plug in the PCI Express, which might just barely be long enough. Like, seriously. See if you can, no, can't really see what I'm doing. PCI Express can now go into place. I don't have to do a lot of cable management because I think the power supply is going to do it for me. I'm going to plug in the 24-pin motherboard power, get this SATA cable out of the way first, so that I don't wreck the cable trying to install this one. This I should be able to do no problem without tools. Assuming that Mr. 4-pin additional connector doesn't want to be stupid. Alright. So then I need to do this, which I guess because it's backwards, I'm going to be using the low profile connector. Let's see here. Into place, not a big deal. We'll put our data connector back. Not a big deal. We'll have to tie this to something. We'll just tie it to this. I really wish I had smaller cable ties than the ones that came with this power supply, because these are kind of ridiculous. I'm going to actually tie it to this CPU power connector. Might as well, right? I've got it here. Maybe I'll see if I can get this excess wire tied into it. On top of that, this needs more hands than I really have. But I think I've got it. And now I have a random connector here that I really don't need. Probably should have tied that off to this too, but I didn't because I wasn't even thinking about it. So I have 2 more cable ties. I'm going to tie up this bundle here. I'm going to tie it to the PCI Express, and then this should be good to go. Okay, so our cable management is done. I don't think it's too bad, all things considered. It doesn't look pretty, but I don't need it to look pretty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come over here to the switch, change the monitor over to that, so I can go ahead and plug this in. It's off. Grab the power, if I can. Plug it in. It sparks nicely. Grab the VGA. Plug the VGA into the video card, which is kind of where it needs to go. I'm going to run this as a test. Not that you'll probably be able to see the monitor. If I can actually get to the thing for the keyboard, that would be nice. You know what? I'm going to put the side panel on the machine because I'm also going to need to plug in a mouse. So, I guess if it blows up, it won't blow up in my face. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and throw on the side panel. Could just reinstall it, not, in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to... No, I'm not going to do that because it's hooked up to the other monitor. So, we'll go ahead and, just for demonstration purposes, hook it up to this. Hook up our keyboard, if I can find the cable. Find our mouse, which has disappeared. That's USB 3.0. Could plug the keyboard and mouse in there, but I don't know if it'll work because I don't know if the USB 3.0 driver is loaded, because I don't know if Windows 7 actually has a built-in driver for that. I don't think it does. Now we'll plug in a mouse. Hopefully you can see at least some of the display there. We'll go ahead, flick the power on, and push the power switch. And, is it on? It's on, okay. Is it working? Takes a little bit to post. There we go. So, cool. Should even be an RPM monitor on that, so I could go into the BIOS and check. Which is what we're going to do. I'm not going to go into Windows or anything, because I don't think I need to. I could pull up Speed Fan. Okay, let's pull up Speed Fan and see what that says. Okay, I thought I had Speed Fan, I couldn't find it. And from what I've read, it's not portable anyway, so I'd have to install it. I don't really think I'm going to install it. So we just went into the BIOS, we checked it out. Or I did. It looks okay. I mean, really it does, but feeling the air output from this, and there isn't much. So I don't know if it's because it's blowing into the case, or if there's some other deal going on here. Okay, so there's the machine down there. You might be able to see it running on that display. But I think I'm going to be modifying this power supply. And I'll tell you why. It's not because of the capacitors, even though they're junk, but it's because of the other reason why these SmartPower 2.0 power supplies were really kind of reviled. They have a fan speed control circuit, which if we go ahead and look at the box, it might actually mention it somewhere. Yeah, right there. Unique fan design. to ensure the best and quietest cooling possible. Well, what they mean, and what that really means, is that the fan control circuit starts the fan at a really slow speed so it doesn't move any air. And then when the power supply gets piping hot, it speeds the fan up slightly, but not enough to keep it from exploding after a couple of years. So that's what happens with these. And the problem here is that I'm kind of pushing that a little hard, because I think that's a 95 watt TDP CPU, and that's like 100 and we'll round it up to maybe 150 watts on the video card. So I think we're pushing a 210 watt load on this, and even at 210 watts, that power supply is still getting pretty warm. So I guess there's that. So I guess in the future, when I get my RAM kit for the computer, I'll also get a couple of fans, and we'll replace the fans in that power supply with proper fans, and we'll run them off the motherboard or run them off of the Molex 12-volt line or something. I don't know. We'll decide what to do. Or I'll decide what to do, and you'll get to watch me do it. Anyway, that's it for this power supply. This Antec SmartPower 2.0 SP-350. If you've got any comments, please do feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.